Hello guys, and welcome to one of the very last, big nerf lines I'm ranking. I'm going to keep ranking different nerf lines, but this is last big one, for sure. I have this, Boomco, and I think one other, and that will be every big nerf line. I've done them all. If you don't know what I'm doing here, I'm ranking every nerf line. Today is Elite 2.0. And if you want to pick what I rank next, I have a poll on my channel every week. So go there, do it. But today we're ranking Elite 2.0. And this will be 32 blasters before Elite 2.0 was completely scrapped. Which, to be honest, is a good thing. Because I'm going to tell you when we finally get out of the trash section to mid to good. And there will be a lot of trash on this list. Oh, what? My bad. That was my bad. At 32 is, no doubt, is going to be the Warden. I know the Warden has been at least updated and fixed, so it works better. It still breaks. But the original Warden, I'm sorry, Nerf, you will never be forgiven for that. The original Warden's pump grip was so fragile, you could break it. You will break it within 100 rounds every time. I've seen many people review this blaster, and every single one of them broke it one way or another. The newer versions are hard to break, but they're still breakable. But just because Nerf did not test it and thought, yes, this will work, was absolutely disgusting. If you do not know what the Warden is, it's just a rough cut, but a worse version in every way. Is one tack rail up top, is a shotgun pump, is 8 rounds, it fires 2 darts at once, half trigger pull fires one, half trigger pull fires the other, full trigger pull fires both. The handle sucks, the trigger's fine, the plastic's awful, and the pump grip is the worst pump grip in Nerf history because it breaks. And that's why this will be 32, and I don't care how much they update the Warden, it will always be the worst blaster in this list, if not one of the worst blasters of all time, just because of that flaw. A flaw that was just shoved under the rug by Nerf and thought we'd be fine with it. And I know you saw 31, so let's just get to it. At 31 is another absolute disaster. The Flip 32. This is a really cool looking blaster, I know. It holds 32 rounds. It is also a lever action. There's not many lever actions out there. This was on my lever action top 8 list, because there was only 8 lever actions ever made in Nerf. But this has one tack rail up top. It is lever action with a really nice stock, to be honest with you. Good handle. But the issue is the thing up top. It does have a pump grip that if you pull it back, it will flip the barrels. The issue with that is the rotation mech is not strong enough, or just not built good, because if you flip it, you have to flip it very, very easily. If you flip it any sort of strength at all, it will mess up the alignment and will not fire. This is a cool blaster, but in the main thing Nerf was trying to do in its flip aspect, it does not work. The last one, Warden, and this one are just absolute terrible in every single way. No, they're just unusable even, because they don't function right. It is just awful, these two blasters. It's just really, really sad to see how far Nerf has fallen and how testing has gone out the window. And you could see it with all ears with Elite 2.0. This is a cool blaster, but a awful, awful showing. Same with this one. It's a decent blaster, but awful, awful showing of it. And at 30 is another Flip blaster, crazy enough. The Flip 16. Same issues, not as bad as the 32. That's why it's one above. The Flip 16 has a pump grip that has the same issues, but not as bad because it's not as heavy. And this blaster in general is just kind of bad. The stock is awful. It doesn't lock or anything. It's a stock that folds out, but doesn't really get stuck easily. So you're gonna just kind of break it really easily and make it bow in, because you fold it out for the stock part, and you have to push this at the same spot for the stock, and that thing will just push in. But it's a top bolt action prime. Okay. And a really small pump grip for the flip part of it. This blaster is just really dumb in every aspect. The only thing I give it is its handle is pretty nice. That looks like an amazing handle. Everything else on this blaster is just... Honestly, I would never, ever do this. This is just bad. At 29 is the lock and load. It's back, guys. They released the lock and load. This was already one of the worst blasters Nerf has ever made. If you don't know what this blaster is, it's an internal 6-round magazine blaster, which is kind of poopy, but it's okay. The thing that makes it awful is the dart's barrel is half the length of the dart. So this thing's power and accuracy is nothing. This thing fires 15 feet, and I bet you can't hit anything at 15 feet. It's also incredibly oversized. This thing is massive. The only thing that this thing did, its release, is gave you a stock for a magazine. But this thing has an internal magazine. It has a front light that does nothing. It's like a little tiny like glimmer of anything, and 2 attachments, and they think, oh, this is worth $35-40, or was it 45? I don't remember. Terrible, awful, just awful blaster. 28, the quad fire, 4-round smart AR T-pole blaster. It's a little bulky, but now we're just this is just mid. We're in the mid tier now. We're out of the absolute shit. This is just mid. It has a tack rail on the bottom of it for some reason. A little bit oversized, still cheap plastic. But it has an iron sight. I guess it looks kind of cool. So yeah, that's all I say for this one. 27 is the operator. It's a 2-shot big rifle with a non-detachable scope, nerf Y. The only reason I put this one ahead of this one is because of the stock actually looks kind of nice. And for Elite 2.0, a stock for this cheaper blaster is rare. So that's why it's 27th. But built-in scope, 2-shot blaster, and it doesn't look great as it is. 26, the same thing, but this one has a stock attachment point. Yes, you can put any stock you want on this one, which makes it 1,000 times better. There's a tack rail up top, so you can put any scope you want. It does not come with anything, but still that 2-shot pump action blaster. Like, this one's T-pole, but this one's pump action, and it's just way better in every way, but still, it's a 2-shot rifle. That is it at 26. Elite 2.0, what did you do? Why did you do? No. At 25, the contender. The only thing this thing's contending for is the trash can. That one is good. That was a good one. This is a 6-shot revolver, pretty much. That the barrels are too small for its darts, but at least it's pump action with a stock, with dart holders that are the worst dart holders ever. Putting them in the side like that just doesn't really work well. And hang on, I'm going to take a sip of some hot chocolate. Alright, it has a tack rail up top, but also a decent reticle, which I'll give it that. And this blaster is actually just decent overall, but performance and accuracy, because the barrels are short, costly. But everything else is really good, and Nerf, I don't know why you did it. This has the biggest trigger guard I have ever seen. Like, honestly, you should do this more, because at least more people can hold this thing. Not the little tiny window you give us. This thing is still mid, but I was surprised to find this one. I'd never seen this one before when I put it in the list. 24. One of the very first ones. The Volt. It's a worst Night Finder in every possible way, but it's coming in at 24. No dart holders, or maybe there's some in the handle. I do not remember. It's a one-shot T-pole blaster with 2 tactical rails on it, and a light, a laser, you could say, that does nothing. So yeah, one-shot T-pole blaster is 24. Good job, Elite 2.0. You're doing so well. At 23, the Tech Tract. This one, I actually saw a lot of people were actually fans of this one, so that's why I put it a little bit higher, and even, I understand it too. It's a pump action, 4-shot Smart AR blaster. Yes, Elite 2.0 just made a ton of reshells, pretty much. This thing has a stock, 1 tack rail. It's really thin, to be honest. It's incredibly thin. It's slim. But it's just pump action, 4 rounds. It's small, compact, and it's usable. It's okay. It's still mid, but it's okay. 22. The Prospect. This one is a slimmer version of the one we saw way before. And even this one is another... Nerf just was like, you know what, this 4 Smart AR blaster will be the entire Elite 2.0 line. This one's just slimmer with a built-in scope. Forget about the scope, but it's slimmer, so I'll give it something. 4 shots, T-pole. The handle looks comfy but small. Yeah. 21. 21. Oh, sorry about the pixels, guys. the Spectre. A re-released version of the Spectre is coming in halfway through the list. A reskin of a crappy a reskin of a okay N series blaster should not be halfway through a list ever. But this is a 5-shot top prime, no slam fire, collapsible stock that's removable, silencer that's removable, Spectre with worse plastic. And it's 21. At 20 it was the Shaka Khan. The Shaki. I am dyslexic. I cannot pronounce this one. I am sorry. This is I think it's 14 round cylinder blaster, pump action, stock attachment point was at 1-2 tack rails with barrel attachment point. This is actually okay. I think this thing had issues with braking, but I never saw them when I ever saw one or used one. Oh, there's a 3rd tack rail on the bottom of the cylinder for some reason. Why would you ever use that? I don't know. Handle is doesn't look that comfy, but it's 14 rounds, pump action. It's decent enough. Still mid though. 20. 19. The thicker Strife that comes with probably one of the coolest sniper scopes we ever gotten, and it's backwards. Nerf, what are you doing? This is a semi-auto blaster with a sniper scope. One of the few attachments you had is on the wrong blaster. There are 3 tack rails on this thing. It's just a bulkier Strife with crappy plastic, Barrel attachment point, stock attachment point, crappy handle, 6-round magazine, semi-auto. With also a really bad jam door too that you can lose pretty easily because it just pops off sometimes. 19. 18. The exact same thing. The Phoenix? Is that what this thing's called? The Phoenix? All it comes with extra is a stock and a barrel from another blaster that doesn't fit this one at all. Oh, and 6 more darts in the magazine for 12. 18. It's mid. 17. The Commander. The Commander, I'll give it something. This is a decent 6-shot blaster, but comparing it to every other 6-shot blaster, it's pretty low just because the size, it should not be this big. Barrel attachment point, stock attachment point, which we have not had before, and 2 tack rails, top and bottom. Oh, one more, 3 tack rails on the bottom of the handle for some reason. Yes, put something there. But it's top prime, 6 shots. It has a handle guard, which is actually pretty nice. Coming in at 17th. It is still mid, though. 16. The Ace. It's a thick version of the Jolt with an extra dart storage where you're aiming your blaster. Mid. It's just honestly really uncomfy compared to almost all blasters. And then comparing it to the Jolt, I'd rather just have one shot than a way thicker version of it that's just harder to hold. That gives me one extra dart where I'm trying to aim so I can't actually aim because it's in the way. 16. Still mid. 15. The Egg Hunt version of the Ace. It's Ace? Yes, Ace. It has a cool looking colors. I'm going to take a sip of hot chocolate. And it turns its extra 1 dart into just nothingness. And it just gets in the way of aiming. 15. 14. The Jolly Dash. This, same thing. Another reskin. But this one, you can at least hold an extra dart in it. And I do like the reef on it. And the Christmas colors, I like. But this is still a terrible mid-blaster at best. 13. The Trio. They just ripped off the Triad instead of making it slim, compact. They made it tall. 3 shots. T-pole blaster. That trigger looks absolutely disgusting with 1 tactical rail on the top. This is honestly awful. Handle looks bad. This is just thick and bulky for no reason. I mean, it's just tall and weirdly shaped for no reason. Sorry, it's not really thick. But yeah. The Trio. 13. This was once one of the only Elite 2.0 blasters I actually wanted in my arsenal, just because to say I had one. Because there's none I actually wanted until recently. At 12 is the Echo. The Echo. Which, oh look, the barrel attachment point and the stock attachment point from that last one is back. 12 rounds. Top prime. It's just a worse, it's just a worse blaster. I always forget the name of that one. But it's just a worse version of it. It's 12th. And this is still mid. We are coming up to the top 10. We have not reached out of mid yet. 11. The Sly Shot. It's a completely sealed blaster. That's 1 shot, T-pole, and it's just a redesigned version of the Jolt. Why is this one so high? It's because it actually has good ergonomics and a really nice handle. So it's 11th. 10th. Oh, the final flip blaster. The only one that worked, surprisingly, is made it to 10th. I actually am a fan of this one, because this one is cool, but I don't like the way you have to prime it. It's a T-pole in the handle, and I just don't like that. It's just a massive jolt that flips. The top scope thing, you pull that back, flips the barrels, you got 8 shots. You get 4, flip it, you get another 4. You only get 8 darts, don't lose them. It's 10, it's still mid. At 9, the Eagle Point is actually one that I owned, gifted by a friend on Christmas. This is a bolt action 8 round blaster with 8 extra darts in the stock, with a scope and a barrel attachment point, built in stock though. It has 2 tactical rails, and honestly, this is probably the best handle that Elite 2.0 ever came out with. It does look bulky, but if you actually get your hands on this thing, it feels amazing. Trigger's good. It's just a nice blaster overall. But is that enough to bring it out of mid for me? This is the one that's on the edge of mid. We're getting into edge territory here, but I do not think it's a good blaster. It stays at mid. It does good what it tried to do, but what it tried to do was not that good. 9. 8. The Ranger is a 5-shot blaster, stock attachment point, 5 extra darts, shotgun prime. This is the pinnacle of mid. This is getting to the very peak of mid, but I do not think it's good. It is very useful, but is it good? Is the top 8 good? I consider the Ranger good. You know what? We're in the top 8. There's 8 blasters in this line I consider good, and the Ranger is definitely one of them. And the Eagle Point is slightly outside. Just 5-shot Smart AR shotgun pump blaster. 7th, the Duo. It's good. It's a 2-shot jolt. It's thin. It's compact. T-pole prime. It's just a 2-shot jolt. I've never seen this before, but it's a 2-shot jolt. It's good. 6, the Slash. The Slash. Yeah, that's Slash. Is the new version of the Jolt. And actually, I think this is better than the original Jolt. Hear me out on this one, because I do not take modding into consideration, but this is still just the Jolt, and the Jolt is still going to be 6th on this list, because everything else is not great. Yes, the normal Jolt is 6th on the Elite 2.0 list. But what makes this really good is you can rip off the blue thing, so it is just a little compact Jolt, but its barrel is different, because there's the actual barrel where it seals a dart, and there's about half an inch of where the dart does not seal. Now you're telling me, doesn't that just make the dart weaker? Yes, it does. But it's the perfect, I'm not joking, the perfect diameter to just push some brass barrel in there, and you'll get about ½ inch of brass, which makes this thing way better. And honestly, I put a little bit more brass, and I got this thing to hit 75 FPS, which for a Jolt, that's pretty good. So the Slash, you're 6th. At 5th, now we're getting into the best. There was good, there was a lot of bad. Wait, there was terrible, there was a few terrible, there was a lot of bad, there was a very few good, and now we're getting into the best, the greatest out of this line, and this is one of them. The Storm Charge. But honestly, even though this is the best, this is still a good blaster. It is a 12 or 10 round magazine, stock attachment point, barrel attachment point, and it's pretty much a rapid strike that is a strife. It is semi-auto. It's just a cut down rapid strike, but it's a strife with a tactical rail on both sides, I think, and one up top, so 3. And its handle is just a strife handle, so it's actually nice, somewhat. But it's good plastic. This is a good plastic here. Really well made. Would not think this is Elite 2.0, but it is. I am really glad this was done. Actually, I saw this at Walmart just just a day ago, and it was on clearance for $5. So yeah, there was that too. But this is still, this is just a good blaster. It's a semi-auto strife. This is good. Number 5 is good. Number 4, the Turbine is another amazing one. This is an 18-round magazine. I think this is the only 18-round magazine in the entire Elite 2.0 line. And this thing is very slim. The side profile is like nothing. And this is full auto, and it fires really fast. And it is made out of the crappy Elite 2.0 plastic, but I don't mind the design of the blaster. It has a barrel attachment point, actually. I don't know if you can actually put any barrels on that thing, because how it sticks out like that. But it also has 2 tack rails, a scope, and a foregrip. So 2 tack rails where they're supposed to go. And 2 more on the sides for some reason. So 4 total. But this thing just fires really, really fast. It's good. It's thin. Wallcomp loved it. The handle sucks. But what are you going to do? It's 4th. Coming in at 3 is the Double Punch. This thing is another really good blaster. This thing was cool when it released, and I'm surprised Elite 2.0 could still make something like this. This is, I think it's, oh, it says around the side, 10 round magazines. Why? Don't know. You throw, wait, could you throw 2 35 round drums in here? I don't think you could. But you can at least throw 2 22s. The stock is terrible. There is no stock. It's just kind of a rod that goes into your arm, but that's fine. It has dart storage up top, the crappy dart storage for some reason. But how this one works, it's semi-auto, and every time you pull the trigger, it will switch the barrels and make them go out. Like a anti-material cannon kind of thing. The boom, 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 and each barrel goes out. Yes, I am old. I am 21. I am doing this because I like nerf. But it's cool. The shear pull is heavy because of that, but it's still a really cool blaster and fun to use. And it's still semi-auto. Yeah. So this is 3. At 2, the Moto Blitz. The Moto Blitz is a magazine in the back. I forget what that is called. Is that Bullpup? Yeah, Bullpup. It has a built-in scope, which is the reason I did not buy this blaster, and I hate it for it. Built-in scope with a tactical rail on the top of the scope, so you can put another scope on your scope. It even has a decent iron sight that you can't use because of its scope, and it has 2 more tactical rails on the sides for some reason. This is a semi-auto blaster that its performance is absolutely abysmal because of the pretty much 2 feet of barrel it has to travel through. But the good thing is the white part of it. The white part is a air bladder. We haven't seen an air bladder in so long. If you don't know what that is, that's air that gathers. So how it works is the shotgun pump. You pump that up, you fill the bladder, you hit that side button, 6 rounds. A shotgun burst of 6 rounds come out. That is why this is 2. Not because of the blaster, because of its underslung shotgun. And you can make that thing a beast. Because, what is his name? I don't know. a Luchasaur made an absolute beast of a shotgun by closing all its air seals, air restrictors or whatever. But this is 2. And you can also fire 1 round out of the front shotgun if you want to, because of its air restrictors. No reason to, but you could. But what is number 1? Well, it's actually the only blaster I've ever wanted in the Elite 2.0 line. Say what you will, but yeah, I put number 1 was just a blaster that everyone appreciated or liked, and the only blaster in the entire Elite 2.0 line I want. I still want this thing. I'll pick it up eventually. This is a hammer shot. A hammer shot that holds 8 rounds. With pretty much a worker, part kit on it to just make it bigger. I like the colors. So this is just a evolved hammer shot. It's lever action. No, it's hammer action. Sorry, hammer action. 8-round cylinder blaster. The other side is completely open, so it's really easy to load it. It is a big hole if you don't like that, but it's fine by me. The only issue is its handle is way too skinny. I don't know why Nerf decided to do it, but its handle's way too skinny. It looked like they shaved it down to save on money. But this is also the good plastic. So the Trailblazer comes in at number 1. Well, that is it. So let's see. We have 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 blasters that are amazing. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 blasters that are good. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. 19 blasters that are absolute mid at best. And then 1, 2, 3, 4 that are absolutely awful. But with that, thank you guys so much for watching. I hope to see you in a completely different rankings video. I have an entire playlist on my channel. I do a lot of Nerf stuff. Hope you guys enjoyed. See you next time. Bye bye.